right. Hey, good morning, everybody. Today, we're going to have a conversation about 7 steps to reset your mind to overcome this addiction to approval. How to help us stay focused more on what we want, what we can do, on the path we choose. So, we're going to practice several key mindsets, 7 simple, powerful ways to set your mind up in the right frame, right? That's what we talk about, reframing things. Set your mind up in the right frame to overcome this pull to be the people pleaser, to be the procrastinator, to be the one who delays your success. Many of us, including myself, oftentimes, without even realizing it, we live seeking validation, seeking permission and praise from others. Over time, over our life, over minutes, hours, days, weeks, decades, this completely shapes how we think and how we act and how we feel about ourselves. That moment where you say, "Oh, I always do this," it's because you had some kind of an addiction to please something else, someone else, to maintain a story. If you always do it and it frustrates you, there should be a clue that it's not the you that doesn't want to be frustrated. This freedom that we want, that we write down in goals, it is possible. The freedom, the choice to be able to live your values, to express your truth. This is all within your capabilities. To know your worth from within and not from the opinion of others. So in just a moment, I'm going to share with you the 7 steps, and then I'm going to dive just a little bit deeper. We only have a short time this morning. It's going to guide you through the 7 steps, the 7 practices. It's not the 7 steps. They're a set of 7 steps to help you step into this greater inner freedom. So the 7 steps that we're going to talk about, the 7 practices, I keep saying steps, the 7 practices are: 1, awareness to patterns. So this is where awareness comes in. I did a project with a very dear friend. We worked on it. We did it probably for a month to see how often we could become aware. Right now, what are you aware of? I'm aware of now when I brought my attention to this moment, when I brought my awareness to this instant, I can hear the birds outside. I can hear the fan above me in the room here. I can hear the hum of the lights. Now, was I aware of those before? Were you aware of those things before? Yes. Your brain is constantly nexting about 2 million bits of data, 2 million bits of data per second. Oh, by the way, per second are going into your body. You know what we're consciously aware of? When we bring our awareness to the moment, we become consciously aware of about maximum 40 different things per second. 2 million versus 40. Is it any wonder why we wind up saying, I always do that? Because we're running on patterns. So become aware, and you might want to write down some of these ideas. I see this pattern and I acknowledge it without shame. If you're scrolling, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, or it's 15 minutes of scrolling, and I need to get up. But the dopamine is you're getting the hit there. You're not moving because it feels good. And it's scrolling and checking and scroll, right? Become aware of this moment. It's not who you are. It's a learned pattern. And what's learned can be unlearned. So number 1, awareness of the pattern. Number 2, grounding in self-worth. So when you simply become aware of this pattern. When you become aware, you can simply put your hand on your heart and gently breathe into your heart and say, my worth is not given to me by others. It is inherited and it is inherent. This is who I am. You inherited your greatness, your worth from you when you came here. We adopted the worth that others have put upon us. So that's number two. Number three is clarifying intention, starting your day. What was your intention for today? What was your word for today? What's your word for the year? I have a very dear friend, Kelly Calabrese, who usually in our mastermind with Kyle Wilson will be given a space and place in the beginning of the year or towards the end of the year for her to do her training, her to do her explanation of something she's done for the last 3 decades, 4 decades, picking her word for the year. Here we are, middle of the year, but I can promise you this. If you have some long-term goals, you'll be around a year from now. So you could pick it that your word of the year starts in June, or you can pick it for the next half of the year. But clarifying your intentions. What is your intention for today? Is it to be honest with yourself? Is it to be focused? Is it to have creativity? What if one of your daily intentions is to say, I choose to act from my own values, not from hunger for validation, right? So that's number three, clarifying intentions. Just to recap: one, awareness of the pattern; two, grounding in self-worth; three, clarifying intentions; and four, practicing presence. The easiest, the fastest way. It doesn't matter if you are a global guru or someone who for the first time wants to begin meditation and presence and practicing self-reflection. All will begin with suggesting you focus on your breath. Breathing is one of the most conscious, when you become aware of it, one of the most conscious attention getting acts you can do. Simply breathe, feel the breath flow in through your nose, exhale. 30 seconds, you can bring presence back into your life. And when you breathe, when you consciously take your breaths, in this moment, I am whole and safe, right? So number four is practicing presence. Number five, compassion towards self and others. These are all 7 practices to help you overcome addiction to approval, the addicted mind. So when you bring compassion, what does it mean when you say you feel, oh, I love me? That feels kind of odd, doesn't it? I love me. Bob Proctor was one of the most profound teachers to me of this particular topic. Bob was a mentor of mine and my bride's 23 years ago, 22, 23 years ago. And funny to say that it's been that long ago. Mason wasn't here yet, maybe 24 years ago. It was a while ago, right? And I was having a particularly bad day. And Bob said to me, he said, well, you don't love you. Like, Bob, the whole world has collapsed. There was hurricanes that came through. There was 3 hurricanes that came through, condemned our house, destroyed all of our contents in our house. Everything that we owned, 90% of it was destroyed or ruined or unusable. So 90% of what we had built and created. He said, well, that's okay. You've just don't love yourself. And I couldn't get it. And I asked him a question. I go, well, do you love you? And we didn't have Zooms back then, right? 23 years ago. I heard him over the phone. He says, love me. He says, I love me every day. I said, what are you doing? He says, I'm giving myself kisses. Thanks for reminding me. And in any moment, you can show compassion to yourself. The phrases you say, oh my gosh, I'm so stupid. I can't believe I did. This always happened. That is not compassion. That is locking in a frequency and a pattern that you know does not serve you. So number 5, compassion toward yourself and others. Number 6, this is a tough one, detaching from outcomes. Release how others may perceive you. One of the phrases another mentor of mine, a business mentor of mine, would say to me when I would, get challenging or frustrating or just being a whiny baby because I didn't want to do what he suggested I do or offered I had the opportunity to do. He'd ask me, so how's that working for you? Isn't that fascinating? So when people have an opinion of you, oh my gosh, you are so lucky, or everything happens for you, or what are you acting like some big shot? We want to defend our advancement, and in our defending, we deny our advancement. When you defend something, think about it. Why do you believe you need to defend it? Because it's weak? Why does anybody defend anything? What's that phrase that the military typically use? There is strength in power. If I've got more things than you do, you probably aren't going to come this way. If I see a guy 6'6" and 300 pounds and just built like a steamroller, I'm probably not going to want to pick a fight with them. Just their size. My size protected me through my younger years because people didn't want to mess with you because they figure you're bigger, you're stronger. How strong is your belief in you? How strong is your belief in them? What are you really saying to yourself? If I have to defend this, it's not strong enough. I have to put a wall between me and that thing that's attacking me. What if you were so strong, no one would attack you? Oh, they'll attack you. It's much like a spitballs off a battleship. So you might say, I release the need to control how others see me. I release the need to see how others see. I release the need to control how others see me. And then embracing your authentic expression. I give myself permission to express who I am. Let me ask you this. The true version of you, who you are, can you show up? I know it seems like a silly question. The truest, most authentic version of you, can you show up? What happens if you do show up? You might tick off a few people because they have, well, let me put it this way. I've had many dogs. On the farm back home when I was little, we had cats. I don't have cats now. We have dogs. We have dogs, and if you've ever had dogs and they were ever outside dogs, they could come inside, but they're pretty much outside most of the time. Isn't it funny how over time, doesn't matter whether you have a gravel driveway or a concrete driveway or a paved driveway, They can tell almost instantly when a vehicle turns down the road, turns down the driveway, whose car it is, whether it's friend or foe. UPS comes to the house here often. There's a particular driver who gives the puppies biscuits, and he's got them for all. We usually buy him a box, but he does them for all. That's a typical thing because everybody's got a lot of dogs, and that's a way to make the dogs not want to chew your leg off. So when he comes here, he's got to give 5 biscuits. They know that. Seamus knows that, and he will stand in the passenger side of the UPS truck, regardless of the driver. Now, he does know the particular driver who does it often, but he knows that truck gives me biscuits. So yes, he barks and he does this, that, and the other. And as soon as the truck stops, he's right there in the passenger side waiting for his biscuit. We have patterns. He knows that truck is a biscuit truck. It's not a delivery truck. My point is he embraces his authentic self. That's what only Seamus does that. The other dogs will show up and they'll get their biscuit and go away. Who is your authentic self? Now, Seamus is a pretty big dog. He's probably 85, 90 pounds. Not super huge, bigger than a lap dog, which he thinks he is. When he jumps in the truck, he scares the living bejeebies out of a new driver. He's like, "Whoa, what, is your dog going to bite?" No, he's not going to bite. That's his authentic self. You got to give him a biscuit. And if you don't have a biscuit, now I got to give him a biscuit. So that was number 7, embracing your authentic expression. So the key to understanding this is these ideas of bringing yourself to awareness of your current pattern. How much of this morning are you aware of? All right. How much of this morning are you aware of? How much of it came from your typical morning routine? We talk about, there's a lot of people who talk about morning routines. And if you can start with a morning routine, there's a good chance that your day is going to be a much stronger, much more focused, much more clear day. 100% agree with that. What I disagree with, or would offer an opportunity to see things differently, is that if you begin a pattern that is placed on top of fear and doubt and addiction, this pattern will have to be filtered through this addiction of approval because we didn't set a clear intention. So there's people who get up and they say, I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and my life is supposed to be different. Yeah, it is. And yes, it will be. The challenge is that they stop because they're not ready for their life to be different. It's too hard to get up at 5 in the morning. Some people on this call get up at 4 in the morning. They're out west. So awareness to the pattern. I bring my mindful awareness to my tendency to seek approval. I acknowledge it without judgment. This pattern does not define me. It is simply something I've learned, and now I can unlearn it. Right? So awareness of a pattern. As you do things, a lot of times I'll share things with my private group. One of the things I'll offer them is something I've done now for 3 decades, is drying myself off differently when I get done with the shower. Now, it doesn't mean I'll not repeat a pattern at some point over the course of 3 decades. If I'm aware, it's to bring awareness to the moment. If I'm aware, even if I duplicated a pattern on a daily basis, my awareness in the most present moment in time that I'm in, the pattern becomes different. Much like if I read a book. Oh, my books are up there. I cleaned up my desk. If I read a book, if I pulled out a book, this is a journal. So if I read this journal, gratitude 2022. So if I read this journal and I read love my colored pens, gives me the visual of different thoughts to have all of the colors, gives me the visual of different thoughts, and to have all the colors I do have, to have all the colors I have is pretty cool. Thank you. Now, that was from January 3rd, 2022. Me reading that. Now, what is this, 3 years later? I'm in a different place. If we become aware of our patterns, we are either bringing our old patterns and making them fit into the present moment, or we can take the present moment to adapt and adopt into our best version of ourselves. The challenge is that we become visible. When we become aware of patterns, we become aware of what does not work. Kyle Cease taught me there's 4 stages that you'll probably experience. The fear of the awareness. I need to do that. I should do that. I got to get out of my comfort zone. Well, what happens when you do? Who you are changes. So then the second thing is, once you become over the fear and you do the thing, Bob Proctor said, do the thing until you don't have to do the thing. I didn't understand that probably for the first 3 or 4 years. This was prior to him mentoring my bride and I. Do the thing until you don't have to. You have to do the thing. You have to become aware. You don't have to. When you decide, if you want what you want, if you want something bigger than who you are, where you are, what you are, you have to become aware of the patterns. Imagine you have this incredible recipe for the most amazing soup, and you put everything into the pot and the stove doesn't work. There's no heat to it. Why would we think our soup is good? Why would we think our soup is bad? Oh, so you made a cold soup? No, it's supposed to be hot. Oh, you made a life? It's supposed to be rich. Your life is supposed to be rich. Become aware of the patterns that you do on a minute by minute, hour by hour, half day by half day basis. That is one of the biggest. If you skipped all of the other 6 out of the 7 patterns, this is the biggest one. Number 2 is grounding in self-worth again. If you don't believe in you, who will? You know, they say dogs smell fear, right? So do humans. We have this innate ability. And listen, guys, women have this skill, this keen tool of vibration and understanding. 100, I don't know what the number is. I'm just going to say it's 100 times more keen, more in touch than the male brain. Simply because of design. The way they need to monitor who they are, where they are, and are they in a safe space? And if you show up thinking you're Jackrabbit of all jackrabbits, you're going to get shot down real quick. So it's one of the reasons why, for the female brain, this addiction to the environment, the people around us, approval has become so overwhelming. We even have to have approval because of social media now. How you show up, how you post, what are your memes like, right? So grounding in self-worth. Can you take a moment and understand that your worth was already inside of you, and it's not earned through the opinion of others? Number 3 was clarifying intentions. I choose. What do you choose today? Do you realize where you currently are? One of my mentors would say, congratulations. Where you're at, it's your fault. I kind of upgraded it because most people didn't realize that it was their fault they were happy. Most people only took that to be, it's your fault because you're broke, poor, sad, mad, not in a relationship you want to be in, whatever the story is. So I upgraded it and said, congratulations, where you're at, it's your thought. What you think about and bring about, what you think about and think about, you literally bring about. And the universe, your subconscious, doesn't know that you don't want it. It only knows if you talk about it, it will give it to you. I don't want to smoke. I don't know why I keep smoking. I don't want to be fat. You're still fat, right? So clarifying your intentions. Number 3. Number 4, practicing presence. If you can, where you are, simply close your eyes for just a second. If you're in a safe space, not driving or operating heavy equipment or flying a plane, close your eyes. And just for a moment, see how soft you can make your index finger, your pointer, and your thumb touch. And maybe you hear Johnny, our rooster, in the background. He usually comes around when I'm saying cool stuff. Just slowly bring your presence to how gentle can you make your thumb and your index finger touch. Now take it to your middle finger. Imagine with your eyes closed, how is it close? Before they touch, is it close? How much closer? Is it closer? Wow, I had to go a long way. I thought I was a lot closer. That's bringing your mind to presence. The only thing you were thinking about is, when is it going to touch? How close is it? You weren't thinking about your lack. You weren't thinking about your wealth, your health, your relationships. You were focused on that. In that moment, this is meditation. That was literally a 10-second, 15-second meditation. Meditation is when you slow your mind enough to give it space. So if you do that again, if you want to do your fingers again, set an intention that you would like to come forth to bring up. What is a way for me to generate significant wealth today? And then don't get into strategy. Let the universe give you some nudges. A dear friend of mine, Kelly Calabrese, again, calls them God winks. What are some God winks that happen in your life? Right? Give some space for that. So that was 4. 5, compassion towards self. Simply by doing this, the physiology, touching yourself, feeling that, feeling you engaging in your body. Physical touch is powerful. So what if you begin to just say, I love me, I love who I'm becoming? Because if it's anything other than that, you might have a fight on your hand. I love everything I've done. And your brain says, really? That's not what you told me yesterday. Out of the 80,000, 60,000 thoughts you had yesterday, 80% of those repeated. 80% of the repeated thoughts are typically not in our favor. Yesterday, you spent all day beating yourself up. And this is all happening at your subconscious level. You are not even aware of these dialogues. So compassion towards yourself, beginning to allow yourself space, breath, breathe in, I love me. Exhale, I'm a rock star. Oh, that's not true. That's not loving you. That's listening to an old pattern. That's listening to somebody else's belief about you that you adopted. You're not stepping in or allowing your authentic self to rise. So compassion towards yourself and others. Number 6 was detaching from outcomes. Shake your hands. Oof, just shake your hands. Oof. That was all. Whatever wojo, whatever that was, I'm in my present moment today. Tony Robbins talks about physiology. He has you draw a little triangle. Physiology, focus, language, and meaning. Physiology, move your body. I can pretty much guess more than 50% of the time. It's probably closer to 80 to 90%. When you are frustrated, when you are stressed, when you are challenged, You have spent more moments in a sedentary state, a non-moving state, than in a moving state. You have frozen yourself, right? Fight, fright, or flees, the sympathetic nervous system, right? Parasympathetic is rest and digest. Breathing can deactivate your sympathetic nervous system and activate your parasympathetic nervous system. All of this is in your neurosystem, is in your physiology. If you had skills, which you do, and if you had capability, which you have, and if you had capacity, which you do, there's no reason for you to struggle. Not one iota, not one solid reason why you should be struggling. You have skills, you have talent, you have capability, you have capacity, and you have desire. There's no reason for you to be struggling. The reason we struggle, I'm not pointing a finger, I'm pointing all fingers at me. The reason I struggle, I'll offer you the reason you might struggle. I know I struggle is because for the most formative years of my life, I was wired, I'm not good enough. And much like breathing of a baby in a house where they say there's a lot of toxic chemicals in the house, in the air from the cleaning supplies and the carpet and all of this stuff. The reasons babies might get asthma in a house that a parent isn't getting is because their respiratory rate is faster. Their lungs are smaller, so it's more concentration. Does this make sense? Does this make physical sense, a logical sense that, okay, so a smaller container with the same percentage of contaminants will get contaminated faster just because it's smaller, percentage-wise. If it's breathing faster, it'll do it faster. So when we got wired as a small individual, the only thing we knew is what somebody was sharing with us. We didn't have the capacity to expand, to meditate, to calm our mind, to offer ourselves alternate options. They say the average child who grew up in a reasonably positive household, reasonably, not overly positive, not by no means wildly negative, heard by the time they're 18, research has shown, science has shown, psychology has shown, on average, that means average, some a lot more, some a little less, they heard negative input that they're not good enough, they'll never be anything. Negative, not authentic input about who you are, negative input that was wired into you. 118,000 inputs. That's just till you're 18. You haven't even begun coming up with stories of how people don't like you. You got your workforce, you got your dating, you have all of this stuff. That's just till you're 18. And at what point did you decide you are going to take care of yourself? At what point did you decide I'm going to start setting goals? At what point did you decide I'm going to start taking care of me? At what point? So just think, for every 18 years, at 36, you had 236,000 times. And at that moment, you decided, I'm going to be rich. And you wrote it down once and you acted on a new idea, a new thought. You stepped into some strategies and you said, well, this doesn't work. No, because it's 1 versus 200,000 plus memories. So when we say detaching from the outcomes at a conscious level, you are literally squirreling your brain because of the subconscious programming. Much like when I type in stuff into my computer and I search for a file, Do you realize it searches through all of my files to find that? It doesn't have, what do they call it? Sentience? Sentient? It's not a sentient thing. It searches for all of it based upon the pattern I plug in. So when you type in health, it runs through all of the patterns of your not health, looking for health, and says it doesn't exist. And what does that do? It deprograms you from wanting to go do your walking, do your push-ups, do your hydration, do your meditation. So we have to detach from all of that. We get to detach from all of that simply by compassion towards ourselves, setting our intentions, becoming aware of the present, right? And the last thing was embracing our authentic expression. When we step into the version of us of who we are and people say, oh my God, I love you. Oh, I love you too. We rarely do we ever say, oh, thanks. Yeah, it's kind of cool to love me, isn't it? Could you imagine? Could you imagine the expression on their face if somebody said to you, man, I just think you're special. I am, aren't I? What? I want you to do that right now. I want you to feel how wired in shame is, how wired in addiction is. I'm going to say, you know, this is coming. It's the simple fact of when we acknowledge it and say it. I'm going to say, I think you are pretty amazing. I love you. And I want you to say, it's pretty fun to love me, isn't it? You ready? 1, 2, 3. I think you're amazing and I love you. If your body moved, if your head tilted the slightest bit, if your shoulders moved, if you moved back, if you looked away, your head looked up, that is a significant sign of disbelief. Your body was looking for the attack, even though you were saying it, because it didn't believe it as truth. You got cameras in my house. How did you know? This is with somebody who studied human understanding. Listen, I'm not a psychologist. I play one on TV, on Zoom. I'm not a theologian. I'm somebody who has spent 4 decades understanding neuroencoding, understanding how the subconscious is just below the surface. I have a phrase I say, everything you want is as close as your skin. It's in the subconscious. And I have figured out ways to open up doors into the subconscious for you to go play around in there without doing harm, right? Most people, if you opened up the hood of their car and said, fix it, they'd probably do more damage than good. They can run diagnostics all they want. You can plug in a chip right now. You can buy a thing on the internet for 25 bucks that plugs into the little access port and it'll tell you your breaker, this, blah, and it'll give you a report of what's not going on, what's potentially not right in your car. I'm not a mechanic, but it'll tell me and it'll show up on my phone. It's what do you do once you know that? See, many of you have self-diagnosed. I'm not rich. I'm not healthy. I'm not in a relationship. You have all of the things that you can tell me you're not. The question is now who do you go to fix that? And will you implement the processes that they offer you? So embracing your authentic expression is key. So there's the 7 steps. I rambled on a little longer than I anticipated, so sharing this with YouTube. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. And yeah, become aware. So my incredible misfits, good morning, good morning, good morning. What'd you guys learn? Would you like? Anybody questions on that? Before I get to go out and do some ranch-a-roni work. Love it. Any last thoughts, comments, questions? Okay. Well, I love you tons. I appreciate you. I hope today finds you with intention and with clarity and with focus, because your authentic self deserves all that.
Good morning, Sean. Don't
Good morning,
leave here.
Selka. Good morning, Selka.
I just couldn't find the microphone on my cell phone. So it took me a second.
All
How
right.
are
Good
you this
morning.
morning?
Outstanding.
Well, that just made my day outstanding just to hear your voice. So
Yeah.
outstanding. So tell me, what do I need to do today?
Well, I would say, knowing you in the way you've allowed me to swim into your world.
Swim into my world.
Yeah. Well, to flow energetically, right?
Okay.
And to move energetically through your world. I would offer you the opportunity to see how often you could smile. Simply that you have such a tremendous vibrational state. People say, "Oh, that's just Germans." No, it's because they're trained, they're taught, they're wired to have a very high vibration. Some people, if they haven't figured out how to use it for their authentic self, we can call them, oh, well, they're just, they're just high energy people, aka a-holes, or they're hard to get along. They're very determined. We come up with these terminologies of people who are not of a similar vibration. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. And in understanding that, you have one of those high vibrations. It's not overpowering unless it's to somebody who has no power. It's not controlling unless there's somebody who has no control. So we have a tendency to dim, right? We call it dimming our light because others can't stand the light. I would offer you today, maybe for the next 2 hours, become a present enough as you're doing your morning, the rest of your morning, as you're moving into your day. Think of all of the things that can make you smile. Do your best to avoid anything of lack just for the next 2 hours, and watch what happens to the vibratory state of everything around you. Simply bring this amazing, powerful energy that exists, named Selka Carpenter, and bring it into this light. Think of when you love being with your horse, not when your horse stepped on your foot or backed you into a corner or smacked you with its tail. Think of all of the things, the joys. Think of your friend. Think of the trip that you just went on. Think of the vacations that you went on, all while doing your other things. So while you still go, maybe your morning routine, brushing your teeth, think about, I remember brushing my teeth in Dubai. I remember brushing my teeth in Egypt, or wherever the different places you were. I remember going to breakfast. Whatever you're about to go do, bring the memory of some of the most enjoyable moments of different versions of what you're doing, of the routines that were challenged or changed by your new environment. The brain doesn't know whether you're in Egypt or Dubai or wherever you've been, Germany, or all of the hundreds of countries, that 20, 30 plus countries you've been to, all of the hundreds of locations that you've eaten breakfast in or woken up from. Bring all of those joys into that and watch this build up. Watch what happens in your body. You'll start laughing. You'll start having this uncontrollable energy that's coming from your authentic self. You love to be around people. I don't think there's a room full of people in your room. At least I hope not. So be around those individuals. Remember those moments. Remember walking down, opening as you go out of your room. Imagine that being the elevator doors in the hotel, and you're down to the breakfast floor, whether that's ground floor or the mezzanine floor, wherever it was. Imagine that opening and seeing some of your friends. Imagine being on the elevator with your friends. Imagine, just set your state. And this is available for everybody. I offer this to Silke because she has done so much traveling. Imagine meeting when the doors open. Imagine telling the story of how the 85 key points of the love of your life. I don't know if you've added more to it. It was in the 70s, I thought. Now maybe in the 80s.
No, it was in the 80s, but I stopped adding
Okay.
them to it.
Okay, so imagine that individual is there when the doors open. Just set your state, pull law of attraction, ask for what you want. Don't offer the universe what you don't want, because it doesn't hear the don't. I don't have a
Right.
team. I don't have a this. I want this. Listen, when I go up and I see, and I think I get called by the sheep, that's my story and I'm sticking to it. But I'll go lay down in the grass, which I've now planted. And I love that we have some grass in different areas, and clover. It's literally like a movie. I'll go lay down in the clover. It's cool. It's even in the hot day. It's awesome. And Anura, the one who's kind of with the special needs, hips and all of that stuff, she'll always come running over and she'll put her little head next to mine. There's not a thing in the world that bothers me in that one. So I use Anura. She's like, oh, I'm going to get some scratches. I'm like, I'm going to get some universal connection. So find these moments, find these spaces, find these places, these things. Now, me thinking about Anura right now and getting the head scratch, and when I bumped up against this, it literally felt the same. So my body was triggered into that same connection to the universe. What I'm offering you is, for the next couple of hours, while your day is still coming to light, think of all of the wonderful things that you have. Think of all of the wonderful experiences, all of the moments that made you laugh. And when you do that, and when you start to step out, and now you have this light that is yours, that does exist, it can now bring into it other things that wouldn't show up otherwise. I'd offer that to everybody. What are some of the greatest memories you have? That's what we do our gratitude list for in the morning. And that's why at night you think of what was the best thing that happened during your day. You kind of bookend those moments of awakeness to set your vibrational intention for the day. And then at night, you set your intention for as you go to sleep. And one of the questions I offer people to say to themselves, what talent, skill, or resource do I need to come into my life tomorrow to reach my next level? So when you set that with your best thing you did that day, that offers that vibration to go into the ether while you're sleeping, and you wake up or in the middle of the night go, oh my God, I just had this dream. I had this idea. So that would be my suggestion to you on this day.
Well, thank you very much. That's definitely very helpful. And just thinking about it is making me smile. Is that odd? I don't know.
That's exactly it. Because from this smile, Silke, you can now think about it, ladies and gentlemen. If you are smiling, I mean, I know enough about Silke to know that when she's in those states, because if she's traveling, she's typically not alone. And what I mean by that is there's usually a community or group, or if she is traveling alone, she won't be alone for long because she is a people person. She came to Little Rock, Arkansas during tornado season and was walking around in the middle with an umbrella that had folded up, and nobody on the street. She's like, why is nobody on the streets? Because there's tornado warnings. But if you don't know, you don't know.
Well, yeah, nobody told me.
Right. My point is that in very short order, within an hour of being landed and at her hotel, within an hour, she was talking to people and creating relationships. She is not a loner. And that sometimes is overwhelming to people because like, oh my God, I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you do that. How do you do that? And so that creates a frequency. I don't need to filter that frequency. I would offer you in the mornings, think of the things that most excited you. I remember one of the things that I think of on a daily basis is when Mason was born, C-section, when he was born and they took him out and they placed him in that little baby microwave with the whatever the light is that they put on them to activate the whatever it is they activate. He was crying, and I would sing to him all the time while he was on the inside, Turalura Lura, an Irish lullaby. So I started singing that to him, and he happened to be his head was this way, so his head was up here, but it was turned that way, and I was singing Turalura Lura on this side of that little baby microwave, and he stopped crying and he turned his head. That brings tears to my eyes. For however many days it's not every day, it's most day, and every day it still brings tears.
Oh,
So those are moments that you just, there's nothing in the world that can penetrate that moment. Now, I have been shocked out of those moments because of the dogs barking or this, that, or the other, because then you get into, but my point is that if you have these strong moments, why not offer yourself a chance to have an undeniable advancement, an undeniable influence over your day? So that's how I can be outstanding most days. Hopefully 99% of the days I'm outstanding. It's because of the way I set my intention. The whole world could have just absolutely went to crap in a handbasket yesterday. If I start my morning thinking of Mason and Turalura, right? So now Molly jumps up on the bed because she's big enough to jump up on the bed, and she'll come over and she'll put her nose like right here, and Beamish is there, and Beamish gets jealous, so he'll come up. So the both of them are now laying on my chest, and I'll sing to them. I'm singing to Mason, but they get to hear it, and so they calm down and they just sit there, and you can feel their weight just rest on you. So those are why it's rare for me to not have my absolute phenomenal morning, because that's how it starts off. You get dog kisses, you get pet tail wagging, you hear all of this stuff. So I would offer you that because you have this amazing, you have had an incredible life that is so unbelievable to so many people that a part of you says, well, if you don't believe it, then I probably don't need to embarrass you or make you feel bad. Not that you ever want to do that. It's this unbelievable connection you have to humans, to the people who are around you, that you want to serve them. And if I tell them the story about all of the places I've been, they're like, oh my God, I've never done that. I wish I could do that. It kind of makes them feel bad that they are not taking more action in their life. And then they become jealous, not because of you, but you're the one they point their jealousy at, because they're like, I should be doing that for me. And then when we feel that this addiction to approval, we wind up saying, well, it really wasn't that amazing. It was freaking amazing. Riding a camel? Are you kidding me?
well, I don't say that wasn't that amazing. Usually what I say, well, you should do that.
Well, and here's where that triggers a little bit of what's called injected values in them. You're right, I should. And now you've got to get them out of the hole of, oh man, they're shooting all over themselves. It was amazing. What would you, and you might offer, instead of you should do that, what would you do if you were on a camel? Oh, I don't know. Come on. Imagine we're riding on camels right now. What would you do? I don't know. It would seem like it's very high, and bring them along with you. Tell them the story. When I got on so how hard was it to get onto a camel? What do they do to get you on a camel? They put you on a stand and then you step onto it?
No, the camel sits down. Have you not
Ah,
been on a camel?
I've
Yes,
never been on a camel.
Oh no, they make the camel sit down, and then you get on, and then the camel gets back up.
Well, but it doesn't get up even. It gets up like, right?
Yeah, yes, and it also goes back down to let you back off, which I have some pictures of that when we were in Dubai desert. My roommate and I were on one camel. It was very funny.
So
Yes.
what if part of your conversation about getting started in your business is no different than getting on a camel? There's ups and there's downs, and you're going to be, and the thing goes at an angle. If it's a big camel, it's really at an angle, and you're like, hang on. Right? But imagine I hear the giggle in your voice because you were literally there.
Yes, I've been on a camel 3 times, and the camel walks much softer than the horse.
Well, I would think it would. I've been on horses,
I,
but I have no idea how much softer it could walk.
I was very surprised the very first time I was on a camel. That was actually in Mexico, which is funny. It was in Mexico at the beach. And I'm like, oh my God, look how soft it is walking. It has such soft feet.
So here's did you all hear her voice when she said, "Oh my gosh, it's so soft"? Did you hear how your voice softened? Not you didn't you got more excited. It wasn't that you lowered the volume. You actually made me feel the soft walking.
Now you're
That
gonna have to try that out.
I'm gonna try it out. I think that'll be cool. And last place I thought is that I could go just next door to Mexico to go get.
Yeah, it's pretty surprising. Yes. They had them at the beach in Cabo.
Wow.
You would never think that they have camels there. So that was the first time I ever rode a camel.
So here's the thing. You have a story that you can talk about this big animal that's bigger than a horse, may not weigh more, might weigh more, but bigger. It's more odd looking than a horse. And yet when it walked, it was the softest gait, the softest walk.
Yes.
Tell those stories. When you are in that state, the universe is now bringing to you soft walking experiences, things that are more fun, things that made you giggle, things that just absolutely. And this is why we have our ability. Animals do not have the ability to have memory. They have a memory that is a fight or flight. We have a tendency to be able to repeat our memories. So if I go up and I scare Beamish, he'll jump and everything will go. In 5 minutes, he'll be okay. If I go up and grab Apollo, I need to move him between pens. I'll grab him by his horn and he'll fight me and he'll be mad at me and everything else. In about 5 minutes, he'll come back over and scratch me going, "Oh, hey, how are you? I love you. What's going on? Where you been?" Like, don't you remember I just drug you from that other pen and you didn't like me and you really wanted to? Yeah. No, that was that. Yeah, but that's over. We don't forget that that's over. We're constantly in this sympathetic nervous system where we are in fight or flight. So when you offered yourself this chance to go thinking about not only the one time in Mexico, the other 2 times of riding a camel and riding a camel with your friend and your roommate and all of this stuff, you got into your rest and digest for, even if it was for during this conversation about camels. And when you're in rest and digest, the body can then begin to heal, repair, can fix things, and can draw from the universe miracles. Miracles don't happen when we're negative. Maybe they do, because it'll bring to us things that we never thought could go wrong. Oh my God, this is imploding. No, that's a miracle. You asked for that. I didn't ask for that. Your vibration did. So when you get into this state of thinking about chemicals, thinking about camels, or brushing your teeth in Dubai, or sleeping on a plane, or having, we bring that vibration to us. Could you imagine? We've got the garden out there, and the garden is just exploding because we're getting rain almost weekly, and it's just awesome. And could you imagine the tomato plant that's next to the other tomato plant, and this tomato plant going, "Oh my God, you have green tomatoes already. I'm such a loser." That tomato plant was an older tomato plant. "Oh, you've got tomato. Oh, and the squash. Look at the size of it." Could you imagine a tomato plant sitting next to a crook neck squash, or little yellow squash plant, where the leaves are this big, and tomato plant, the leaves are that big, and going, "Oh my God, your leaves are so big. I'll never be like you." Isn't that what we do? Isn't that what network marketing, isn't that what social media forces us to do? People see you're traveling and your experience and your energy in the moment. They're like, "Oh, I'll never travel." And you're like, "But you can travel." That's not your job to remind them they can travel. Your job is to live to be the person that can guide them when they raise their hand and say, "I want to travel." Great, let's go. I got no qualms. I got no hesitations. We'll guide you. Where do you want to go? I'll take you wherever you want to go. You got to do the work. You got to do the work. I ain't carrying your bag. Could you imagine everybody you wanted to bring into your business, you had to pack their luggage? Ridiculous.
They'd be traveling light.
They'd be traveling very light. Here's your baggie. What?
You
That's
don't need all that stuff.
And so this energy that you're currently in, imagine if your mantra was you don't need all that stuff. You need to be present and in the moment, and you can go have fun. You don't need all that stuff, all the old story. We get to use that and point that back at our own selves. I don't need all that stuff. I don't need all the old stories. I don't need all of the places where I fall short. I don't need all of the memories of where it didn't work out. All I need is this present moment, this little baggie of energy called the now. And in this now, all things are possible. It's kind of literally like a Harry Potter baggie. You reach in there, everything is there. Everything. How much potential do we have in this moment? 100%. It's in that little baggie. Everything is in that baggie. It doesn't have to be a big bag. Everything is in this little present moment of now. And
Wow.
what you did was you brought into the present moment laughter. What do I need to do? If I told you laugh, you'd be like, what do you mean laugh? It's 4 o'clock in the freaking morning, laugh. Tell me about getting on a camel. No, camels get down.
How do you get on a camel?
Yeah, how do you get on a camel? Listen, I've never been on it. So wouldn't it be fair to say you've never been on a camel, have you? Wouldn't it be?
That's what I said.
I know, that's what I'm saying. You knew it. Because it's like, no, there's not a single camel where anybody and the 3 I've gotten on, nobody's ever had a stand. The camel gets down.
Yes.
So isn't it true? Listen, here's another great metaphor for you to be able to use, because you can use it. I can say, I have a friend. Here's a great metaphor. I can use it this way. You can use it as the actual metaphor, saying, have you ever had a vehicle bow to you in such a way that allowed you to easily get into it, get onto it?
No, hell no. I mean, a vehicle as in a car?
No,
or are you talking about more animals?
No, I'm talking about this metaphor of people wanting to join you in business, this vehicle to take them to a new place.
Okay.
The challenge is they think they got to climb up to it. I think the profession of our business, human relations, internet, side gig, is much like a camel. It will bend to your request to get on board. It will. It'll come right down to you. Now, the thing you got to know is once you get on a camel, it's going to get up. And if it's a big camel, there's going to be a lot of tilting and up and down, and you're going to really roller coaster. It is the perfect metaphor for our business. You say, I want to get on. There's a little thing that you do. You tap it, you pull its nose, whatever it is, and it bows. It gets down, and you can easily climb in to our business. The next thing that happens, the second you want to move in our business, it's about to rock your world, baby. And if this is your first time in, it's going to get up and you're going to go, whoa, and you're going to, is this normal? This is how we have to move to get started. And then once you're in it, once you got momentum in your business, it is the softest walk you will ever experience.
But it can also run.
It can also run. And that's
I had never seen a camel run till last year when I was in Egypt. And there was this Asian lady on a camel. And, they have some of the children there walk the camels. Well, she kept telling the little boy, he must have been maybe 8 or 10, that she wanted to go faster. And so he's slapping the camel's ass with his stick. And then he trips and falls and he lets go of the camel. And the camel with the woman on top starts running. I have never seen a camel running that fast. And the woman was screaming. And of course, the boy, by the time he scrambled up, it had way gone. But there were other men and they stopped the camel with the woman on top. It was the funniest thing. So yes, the camel, if you slap it, it runs.
Well, I mean, Think about it, Silke. This is the perfect metaphor. You get to talk about our Hey, listen, you can ride it slowly. You can ride it with the crowd, or if you want to go fast, it'll go faster than you ever want. Our business will take you faster to places than you've ever been. The question is will you hold on, and who's going to stop it when you need to? That's
Yeah.
what you're here for.
I love the way you look at things.
I love it. I mean, what a perfect animal to teach our business. Cows don't bow. Cows don't bow down for you to get on. If they're laying down, you can get on them, but they're not made to be ridden. Horses typically don't. Now, some horses they'll bend their leg back and you can step on it to help you up.
Really? I've never seen that.
But yeah,
No,
we used to have a horse that would
we
do that.
usually use the mounts to climb up.
Well, that's the difference. You get to talk about something you do regularly and something you've done 3 times is that you can talk about, hey, listen, if you need help getting on a horse, they'll actually bring you a stand and they'll bring the horse over to it. A camel will bow to you whenever you want to get on. It's just like our business. You want to get on Tuesday, it'll bow wherever you're at. You want to get off, it'll sit you down and it'll let you get off on Friday. You want to pick it back up on Monday? You don't have to keep bringing it back by the stand. You don't have to keep coming back to meetings to get on this thing called our business. Oh, I am going to build out a camel metaphor of how, and I've never been on one, but I have a good friend who's this amazing German superstar.
Now you're going to want to ride the camel.
Exactly. I do. I want a picture on a camel. So my point is that what to think about, feel your energy shift simply about talking about your experiences with a camel. That's how we bring more of what we want and less of what we don't into our life. We ask it to come forth. And you all can hear this is Silke's most authentic self of her loving life, having fun, having an experience, witnessing things in your life, right? There's that one video that says everybody moving in their business. And then there's me, and it probably was the video of that lady. It's the one camel who comes running into the screen and she's just flopping around. It's like, so that's being in this state will bring more of this state to you. Because from these memories, you'll have other memories and you'll start to do things and you'll start to have moments where you'll say, you won't believe what happened today. So thank you for asking the question.
Well, thank you for answering the question and talking to me. It put me, I'm trying to word this, it put me in a very happy state.
Now,
where before I was like, well, but now I feel very energized and happy and smiling.
And think about it. Where was it? Where was this energy? It didn't come from me. This is you living your memories. This was always inside of you.
It was you reminding me. It was you reminding me of it. And I need more people to remind me of these things because, yes, I can get complacent otherwise. So thank you, thank you, thank you. It's only 5 o'clock in the morning, so I have an amazing morning to get started. Thank you, and I love you.
I love you too. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Anyone else? What'd you learn? What'd you like? And that's good to see that I'm 60 and my voice is still cracking. Anyone else? I'll go through puberty here soon. All right, my misfits. I appreciate you. I love you tons. I get to go spend some time with a dear friend. This morning, Michelle and I are going to go spend a day with her and have some fun and laughter. So.
Hey, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Mr. Bob Kane, horseman.
I just wanted to share that I jumped on partway through your live with Ray the other day.
Okay.
I've not gotten to get back to it and watch the whole thing. I probably caught the second half of it, but grateful for you.
I was awesome in the first half.
Oh, of course you were. You were awesomer than you were in the second half.
Awesomer in this, yes.
Awesomer. But I just wanted to congratulate you and thank you for the difference you made. It was very, very well done. So there you go.
It was a lot of fun. And I know there's a shift. You know, I made a post. I saw a young woman who's a friend, Stephanie, who is in Ohio. She's a baker. I just love her stuff. She had posted a picture that said, June is going to be a month where you might say, look what God did through me. It's going to be that kind of month. And so I
Love it.
reposted that and I thought, man, how cool is that? And almost within hours, Ray texted me and he said, hey, listen, I really want to interview you. You've been so valuable to me in my life. I just want to interview you. I went, oh, how cool. When? And I thought it was next Monday. So, you know me, that's how things go.
Well, that's what I was, because I thought
Yeah,
you
I
shared
did
that it
say
was
the
next
9th.
week, and all of a sudden there you were. I'm like, did I miss something? But well, yes, clearly they are going on now. But
So,
I must admit, I was a little bit disappointed with one thing.
what's that?
I mean, I know you as I'm looking at you now.
Right.
But here you are with your fancy shirt and your hair also, and you didn't have your Lucky Top hat on. And I was like, who is this person?
I was going to put on my Phillies hat, but I didn't, my Pirates hat, but I didn't.
Yeah. Okay.
I love it.
Well, I just want to jump in and share that. Very, very pleased and
It's
proud of
exciting.
you.
And
Yeah, cool. Very cool.
And I told Ray in a, so we did a little follow up afterwards. And I said to him, oh, I think I said it on the video as well, that this was one of those dream board moments.
Yeah, you said it. I heard you say it.
Yep. And,
Yep.
you know, and because Ray kind of he sent me a voice message afterward. He said, you know, I really appreciate what you said at the end there. It really meant a lot. Because when I say, oh, they're about as huggable as a porcupine, that was Ray. For all of the years I knew him, he would be happy to talk to you. If you got any closer, literally physically closer or conversationally closer, he would just walk away. He was as huggly as a porcupine in heat. So you didn't want to go anywhere near him. Now on stage, he would turn on the switch.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when he was alone, because he always felt threatened. Right. Because he never thought he was enough. You know, when
And
your mom.
now he's got faith.
Yes. He's got tremendous faith.
Yeah.
And I said to him, I bet because when he accepted God, when God called him and he said, okay, I'll do this thing. And he professed it and talked about it.
Yeah.
He lost a bunch of his audience, gained a bunch more, but lost a bunch and ego says, oh my God, there goes all everybody, right? Because you start dealing with that. And then launches a network marketing company. I said, I bet you didn't have to worry about clearing out your friends list. He said, no. He says that it happened again. I said, I just want to thank you for the courage to do that.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Please for him.
He's just a good egg.
Yeah. I look forward to meeting him one of these days.
Yeah. It'll be my privilege if I get the chance to introduce you.
Tremendous. Well, thank you, my friend. Love you, and
Love you
have
too,
an awesome
brother.
day.
Appreciate you.
All right. Bye.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. You are most amazing individuals. Today is Wednesday. I hope you have an incredible day. I'm your head brain training, brain scrambling. Find your presence misfit. I'll see y'all where?
The next event.
At the next event. Somebody give me some Costa Ricas.
Pura vida.
We love you, Mark. And some Lydias.
Peace be with us all.
Be with us all. And the queen of helping you find more of what you want, less of what you don't, Jessie Lee Ward.
Bossly.
We love you, girl. And a little white fluffy.
Gurgly, gurgly, gurgly.
All right, everybody, go have some fun today. We will see you tomorrow morning, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Big things happening, big things working under the hood. You guys will be the first to hear about it. Love you tons. Bye for now.
Thank you, Sean.